Okay, so Blood Bowl news, spoiler alert, Norse news is massive, and we are going to be doing an entire two topics of the podcast, two segments of the podcast based on it. First of all, news-wise, just want to say hello to a bunch of new Patreons who've joined, so really appreciate everybody's support, watching, sharing, chatting with us, and big welcome to Noah Tonkin, Richard Wood, Jason Simpson, Phil, William Hoffman, Midris, Ben Smith, and Uncle Cal has returned to the fold, which is awesome. So really appreciate everybody's support on that one. Now, news-wise, because it's been a week, there's not a lot, but there is one thing that I think is insanely cool that's coming out soon, and this is the Torchlight Models STL Tribe. So my mini factory has a thing called a tribe, which is like Patreon, but actually makes a lot more sense and is normally a little bit cheaper. Actually, Ben, are you a triber at all?
No, I haven't done this. I actually did. I'll be honest. I did cancel quite a lot of patrons because I wasn't doing much printing lately. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. But I've recently been going into it again. So seeing this might actually change your mind a bit.
It's really good value. I can't remember how much it is. I even did the video on these guys the other day. It's like $6 or $10 or something. And
Oh yeah, first sword. Yeah, $6 a month plus VAT.
yeah, that's right. They're good. The VAT bit throws me off. So I don't know, like £8 a month, which is basically the same as most Blood Bowl patrons. Like the Punga one is elite. That's like about £8 a month, and every 2 to 3 months you get a full Blood Bowl team. Which I mean, for an STL team, I think £20 is about right. I tell you what, let's talk about this real quick, Ben. The STLs, they're normally cheaper than a team. How much would you be? How much for a team, for a Blood Bowl team, STL wise? What's your red, amber, green thresholds?
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Like you say, 20 quid is probably the upper limit for a team. I think, I mean, that's used to be what you would get for a team of Games Workshop plastic, originally, right?
It's nearer £30 now with price increases, but yeah, 20 quid, you kind of like, I'll get a team at 20 quid.
Yeah, all unique models. To be fair, the actual printing doesn't cost a lot. Like, if you have your own printer and you've already had that upfront cost, obviously that is a big factor. But printing the individual models isn't a lot, and I'm usually not that hesitant to support artists when they're making these STL teams.
Yeah,
so that's why I don't generally feel too bad.
I think you're right. I think the most expensive teams we've got up there are some that are about like 40, £50 though.
I think that's just too much.
Didn't the RNE studio, or it's actually a studio because they're Spanish, but I've been calling them E Studio for so long because I am incredibly. Yeah, they're.
Oh, are we just racist?
I don't know. I think we're just very British. Anyway, and E Studio makes sense because I was like, oh yeah, cool.
I thought it was
studio.
like yeah, because they do digital models.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Spain. My bad.
Whoops.
Yeah. I think they were doing. Do you remember they had like the humans that were kind of Bretonian-ish, but also very like Wolverine, and they had the Orcs. I'm sure they were priced at like 40 or £50 at one point, and I was like, that is my red territory. Then
that is too much.
Yeah. Then Brute Fun, I think is about £25 for the Lizard Man team. Now, that is on the upper end. The difficult thing with the Brute Fun, that's the Lizard Man bundle, is you get 4 different Croxigors, like a dozen different skinks, a dozen. No, actually, it's more than a dozen. Well, it's a dozen skinks, but with different heads as well. 6 Sauruses with different heads, a Star Player Saurus, 2 Star Player Skinks. Like, you get the Star Players in there as well. So I was kind of like, you know what, £20 for a full team. Yep, with a couple of Star Players bought in. Yes, it would be £30 if I bought the whole thing like individually. I'm like, that is probably the upper limit, but that one's value, I think, and the sculpts are just outrageous. We should probably do a power ranking of STLs, FTSTL companies, because I think there's been a bit of a change where we've got like some newbies in there, and then there's the Patreons like Punga, where it is £20 to £30 over the course of a couple of months to 3 months. And that I feel like is the amber territory. That's like, I'm like,
I feel fine. Like, I mean, it's no secret. I love Punga. I think personally, they're like my favorite kind of Blood Bowl sculpts.
Yeah.
I do kind of disagree with their model, and I feel so awful saying that because the stuff they make is so good, and it's like it feels like a scam when you're kind of complaining about getting a, even half a team, which is realistically kind of what you get with some Games Workshop teams.
It's bang on the
Like you're
money,
getting half
actually.
a team for like £8.
Yeah.
I mean, £10 with printing, and you're just like, yeah. So I feel bad complaining, but it is kind of like when you put it in perspective of everything else, it can be quite a lot. And I think the issue I have is because it's on Patreon. It's one, time gated, and two, you kind of are in a subscription model, which generally you psychologically you get more bang for your buck. I don't know enough about economics to comment on this, but yeah, I don't know. It just feels like because you're in this kind of like unknown subscription, usually Patreon is a marketplace to get more for your money. Does that make any sense?
Well, it's both, isn't it? It's a place where you just go and you, like you said right at the beginning, you go and you support your favorite creators, like
Exactly.
for a couple of months if you can, all the time if you can, and generally speaking you get early access to stuff and more stuff, whatever it is, whether it's us, whether it's 3D printed stuff, whether it's I used to follow some great D&D things, and then I was like, I haven't played D&D forever, but I really like the adventures. I'm like, yeah, okay, but do you really need it? I'm like, no, fine, I'll just stop paying £4 to those people, and I'll just waste that £4 at the supermarket instead buying chocolate to make up for the sadness that I don't have dungeon adventures. But like, the Punga one is a really strange one because, quality of digital sculpting, and with the exception of the stupid dwarves that they stupidly supported upside down on their stupid wings, they're great. Like, they're perfect. I just think it's because you have to wait. It feels incomplete for a whole month.
I think that's why. Yeah, the wait.
Even though I'll be like, if they were like, hey, we're going to do, it's just weird. If they were like, hey, it's going to be £20 a month Patreon, and we're going to do a whole team every 2 months. I don't know. I don't know how they could do it different, because I appreciate the way they're like, sculpting an entire team of this quality every month we can't do right now. Like, not possible. That said, there's some other dudes, including Torchlight, who are Torchlight's a one-man band and is doing an entire team every month. This is the 4th team that we're looking at now with the Orcs here. This is, they've done, their first team was the Torchlight Dwarves. One of those dwarves played the role of a bodyguard in the Bonehead Championship, because I didn't think the nobility would get that far. And then they did the Khemri team, which was pretty cool. Then they did the Amazon team, who I loved. Like, not Amazon team, it was a Norse team, but they were Amazons essentially, like the Skyrim lady team.
Yep.
Really wicked. Strange proportions, but really wicked. And now they've gone, I say they because they're an entity, but it is just one dude, and released this absolute tank, or will be releasing this absolute tank of an Orc team. And I just had to talk about it, because £8 basically, and it's going to be a full release of Black Orcs and Orcs together.
You get the goblins too.
Yeah. He sent a whole list of stuff through to us, because we give him feedback basically, because the first one where they kind of didn't pre-support the models, and then, or they did pre-support them, but they deployed them all on a tray at the same time. So there was one STL, but the 6 dudes were in it. It was kind of like, that's not the most, like, it's fine, but it's not the most user-friendly. It was kind of the feedback there. Where's my message from them? But anyway, they're doing the Orcs soon, and I wanted to show them off on the pod, because if you are a 3D printer person, this is just absolutely amazing. 6 Black Orcs, 4 Blitzers, 5 Goblins, 2 Throwers, 2 Line Orcs, 1 Troll, 1 turn marker, and 1 reroll token.
The Troll looks great, so I'm just looking at it. Like this whole team looks fantastic.
Where's the Troll? There's the Troll. This is interesting. So the Troll kind of gone with it's a Nordic troll style.
Yeah.
It's kind of got the hooked nose, the tusk teeth,
Yeah.
And I really love the pose. I love the way that the armor's kind of carried over as well.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
It's very similar to the Artisan Guilds release from last month, which again was the same kind of troll with the big nose and the tusks. Interesting. So yeah, the troll's coming out. It looks absolutely brilliant. There's going to be. Oh, have you seen the blitzers?
I
Just
Yeah, I'm guessing
underneath.
it's just underneath, right?
Yeah, these four dudes. I love the posing. I think they're super. Like they
Yeah.
look proper second edition, third edition Blood Bowl. Like these look like proper orcs.
Yeah, really, just it's orky, isn't it? It's like the beaten up armor, the
Yes,
like
jagged
the way the
bits.
spikes are. Yeah, yeah,
I
so good.
have no interest in an orc team except this is just inspired an orc team. So the black orcs are looking absolutely brilliant. We haven't seen any previews of the goblins yet, but the black orcs, of which there are 4, they look proper chunky. They look like slightly better versions of the Games Workshop plastic team black orcs, like same kind of size, same kind of stature. They've got like the big fists. They've got tiny ankles, which I know you did bring up.
Yes, they do have small ankles.
Yeah, and
I was going to say the fists really remind me of the Ard Boys,
yes,
like the Warhammer Ard Boys.
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
and they
it.
are Black Orcs, aren't they?
Yeah,
They were the old Black Orcs.
they were original Black Orcs. So
Yeah.
I think it's wicked. I'm really excited. So if you're interested in following and supporting a really cool up and coming Blood Bowl sculptor, then jump on the Torchlight mission where you can. Every one of their teams has got a slight scale or a slight proportion issue. I think it's where they're just kind of starting out. So the Norse ladies were very tall and thin, not to the level of WA Games high elves, but on that way. They were head and shoulders taller than a nobility thrower, so I had to scale them down to 90%, and they worked great. The dwarves were a little bit on the large size, but you had to scale them down to 90%, and they kind of didn't have necks. They were kind of cartoony, and I loved it. The skeletons were perfect, and the orcs just look bang on Games Workshop proportions. Like, if these were Games Workshop models, I'd be really thrilled, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I agree, especially the blitzers, like you said.
yeah, the blitzers, they just got this classic look, and it's just I don't know, really impressive. I wanted to show them off because we supported John, and our Torchlight's out there as well. So John from Brute Fun, Torchlight, there are a bunch of great stuff coming in that I think is just definitely worth shouting about. Now, while they don't do teams, there are places that do print the teams. I can't remember where, but I've seen a couple of mentioned that. In fact, check out our videos when we do a print pitch for these. Someone will be in there saying, "Hey, I do this in the UK," or because that's what happens every time, and it's really useful. Anyway, on to other really good stuff. Just wanted to check in on a couple of Kickstarters. The Savannah team, which we received, and is just gorgeous. And they've this is the one with all the rhinos and the stuff. 5,300 against a goal of 800. 10 days to go, so this one's still good to go until April the 4th. The big elephant's amazing. The scale is right. The sculpting's right. The 3D printing quality is potentially better than Grebo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Grebo,
Nice.
there's you can see some rings, right? These guys, you can't. You can see some supports. That's about it.
Wow.
Yeah, really, really,
impressive.
really good. I meant to give you these, Ben, when we met up in town, and I robbed the fire team off.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
But if you really do want these to paint up as a paint project, please do, because they are gorgeous models. And yeah, I think you'd really like it. I think you'd really like them. They are, I mean, typical third-party team price, £61. It might be a little bit less, actually. £61 with the elephant, 4 rhino dudes, which is now 6 rhino dudes because of the stretch goals, 2 hippos, 6 chimpanzees, 2 baboons. So you've got Black Orc sorted, you've got Lizardman sorted, and it's just a really well sculpted and a brilliantly printed team. This is real models again, and normally real model team with the big guy is kind of £80. So the fact that this is about 60 quid, brilliant. Like, over the moon. Really over the moon. And one of the best comments we had on one of our videos was that I just love how excited Ben was about this. In fact, it was on our last podcast, because I did get really excited when I opened the box because it arrived that day. Apparently Thursdays are really good days. Good stuff happens on Thursdays, and then it's Friday,
Apparently.
and then
Yeah, even better.
it's the weekend. And the only other Kickstarter I wanted to check in was the 3D fantasy football dugouts, because that's still trucking along, £1,600 against a target of £800, so that's good to go. 6 days left on that one. That ends on Thursday next week, which will be another Good Day Thursday, and that's where you can pick up the STLs for team dugouts. They've got like a group chaos one with bleeding skulls and stuff. I love it. I think it's really cool, and there's some really cool stuff out there. I think, Ben, that's it for Blood Bowl news. So we'll hit on hobby, and then we'll go back to the news and have a big deep dive into Norse. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.